Have you any plans to record or do a gig with Ian McCulloch? And Pete Wiley asks Tash.
Thinks carefully and then says vehemently, "No!"
Okay. How did you feel about the Echo and the Bunnymen success? This is my question. Were you pleased for the band?
Yes, I was so pleased. I'm so happy for them. I'm overwhelmed. Yeah, I was actually. I even said to Pete, I'm pleased. I said to Les, I'm pleased. And I said to Will, higher.
Okay. Now, Andy, I hope I am saying that name properly, of Nuneaton, wants to know how you feel and what thoughts cross your mind when you're performing on stage. She'd like to quote a piece out of an interview that you did with Hot Press, the Irish music paper, and a good music paper, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, in the interview with Hot Press, you say, most of the time you're on stage, you seem to be in a world of your own. I doubt if he'd notice if the roof blew off, said the journalist. Although I've only managed to see the teardrops on stage once, I tend to agree with this quote. Now, is that because of your eyesight, as you were saying earlier, or do you really put yourself in a trance?
I think being on stage is just a trance in any case. You know, and for me it is. It's just like being a million miles away. I'm like, yeah, I love an audience, but it's hard to describe it without getting without sounding a bit gross. I mean, it's a very sexual thing being on stage. You know, it's like having all these arms almost touching you. It's great. I'm totally into it.
Was that
where I'm at, man?
Was that the motivation, do you think, for you wanting to go into music in the first place?
No, originally I was scared shitless at the idea of going on stage. You know, I mean, like, I just couldn't even plan it. I mean, that's why I used to look like a real spaz before, you know, because I was so embarrassed about the idea of going on stage. And then I started to get into it, bit by bit. It was a very gradual thing. Bit by bit, I learned to sing, learned to move.
Did you take any lessons at any time? Do any
I took lessons in standing up for a year. And then bit by bit, I just became the glorious performer you see today.
Sandra of No Fixed Abode, well, she hasn't put her address in her letter anyway, wants to know what you think of Midge Ure's cover of No Regrets by the Walker Brothers.
Well, actually, I only have seen the cover at the moment, and looks like he does in real life. Tiny.
Also, we're going to